turn my mic volume down. That's probably why I'm coming in so fucky. Hold on.
Oh. We're live.
And we're live.
Yeah. So, welcome to
Thank
the
you
Power
for
Chamber
joining us.
podcast.
The only PCP that records when they can.
Yes, we're working on it. We're
I know.
getting things situated, getting things taken care of.
It has been a trek getting this done.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. So much so that some things have changed since we last recorded.
Yeah,
So
what the hell?
I figured we should talk about that at the very
Let's
least.
do that. First things first. The first thing that changed in Power Rangers news is I have my Master Stripe tattoo. Finally, after years.
Yeah, it was nice.
We did it.
Nice getting that one for you. Finally earned
Thanks
it.
a lot, man. Yeah, exactly.
No problem.
You need to get enough XP to level up. I get it.
That's how that works. Yeah, you ever
know.
watch the show? So
it depends on which show, but yeah.
Yeah. But the big news that came out last week was that Disney Plus is producing a new Power Rangers live action season.
Yeah. What the hell?
I found a lot of people mocking the fact that they had to specify that this was a live action series, as if the show has ever been anything else other than live action.
Right. Like, first of all, I don't think a animated Power Ranger season is a bad idea at all.
It's not. No. I think the creators of My Adventures with Superman, a show that I love, had said that they had tried to pitch an animated series, and that several others have tried to pitch like an animated Power Ranger series over the years, and Hasbro or whoever, Saban, just won't go for it. So
yeah,
I don't understand it. It seems like it would be more cost effective than what they are doing, but I guess we'll see.
Especially since they want to do the whole multi-universe thing anyway. Like, give them there's clearly a universe where they're animated, right?
Yeah, you would think so.
I mean, we think so.
We still have comics and video games and such.
Right, exactly.
But here,
they've been animated before. Come on.
But here's the actual press release. So per the Wrap, a live-action Power Rangers reboot series is in development at Disney Plus. Percy Jackson and the Olympians showrunners Jonathan E. Steinberg and Dan Schatz are reportedly in talks to write and serve all showrunners serve as showrunners for the reboot. They will also executive produce if deals go through. Hasbro is also said to be producing the series, which is described as a reinvention of the franchise, quote, for a whole new generation of fans while delighting those who already know and love the world of Power Rangers. End quote.
Interesting.
Yeah, so this is still so Hasbro still owns the IP. Yeah. But this is going to be produced by Disney Plus, because I know that Hasbro had an issue coming to terms with Netflix. They couldn't really come to an agreement on what to do for the show.
Right.
I think Netflix wanted to go more into the direction of Once and Always, and
well, look at
Hasbro didn't want to do that, and so that's kind of where they cut ties. So now we're here where Power Rangers is back under the Disney banner, which is such a bizarre way to put it, because like this is the first time in 16 years that we've had Power Rangers under Disney. So I'd be very curious what it'll look like. Of course, you know, you and I both saw the drastic difference between the series, like just looking at Dino Fury as a show, like the drastic difference of what happens when the show is being produced exclusively for Nickelodeon, and then what happens when it's produced exclusively for Netflix.
Right.
So kind of
And
when
that's
those
the thing.
training wheels come off.
Even looking at Cosmic Fury just by itself, dude, like that is a drastically different type of show. We talked about it during the ranking the last time we did this, but man, I I think we both understood or kind of realized that Disney has more good seasons than bad seasons, but the bad seasons are like really bad. Therein
Yeah,
lies the
well,
problem.
you have two different camps, right? Because like I've heard people say that the Disney era of Power Rangers is the best era of Power Rangers. And I've also heard people say that Power Rangers never recovered after it left Fox Kids. So
Sure. And that's
it
just a
just kind of
perspective kind of thing.
depends. Just kind of depends on which one you're looking at here. So
No, I think objectively there is a right answer here, right? Because like Turbo and Zeo were boring right
yeah,
up
well,
until
Turbo is bad. Turbo is
Turbo's
bad.
bad.
Don't say boring. I recently watched an episode of Turbo, and it was
Oh yeah.
legitimately one of the dumbest things that I had seen in a while. So like, you can't tell me
Well,
that the show is just boring
I
or that it's
mean,
not like it had great ideas. Let me say this though. So a couple days ago, the Power Rangers channel that's on Roku was airing just all of the episodes
yeah,
of Power Rangers Turbo,
yeah. They do that.
and so when I got back from like working out, I watched Chase into Space because that was the episode
Right.
that they were on, and I was like,
Sure.
oh, this is so cool. We're gonna be done with this, and then they'll go and we'll just watch
Space, yeah.
um, through space. This is awesome. So I watched all of that, and then they just started the show over. So they started Turbo over,
Ah,
going from that back to shift into Turbo, which is again
yeah.
such a wildly different shift. But
Oh,
I
well,
just thought
okay,
that was
that's what I
funny.
was gonna say. Like, you also watched recently Never Give Up from Wild Force.
Yes,
So where was it
but
like the same amount of stupid?
well, it's for a different audience, which that is an issue with Gal Ranger in general. Of that,
That
like it was a good comic book esque superhero show for like the first half, and then
sure.
for whatever reason, at the literal halfway mark, it just
Yeah.
got really stupid. So I always say that like everything that everybody hates about Wild Force came from what happens in Gal Ranger. So
I mean, yes, but in the same way that everything that people love about Lost Galaxy came from Gingaman. But I have reached a
not
new
everything, not everything.
I have reached a new moment of realization that I don't care anymore about the Sentai footage. That is not an excuse for a competent writer or director or even an actor. Like the fight scenes don't matter if you just like, oh, it's the Sentai footage. That doesn't take away from, Casey fighting Weiger or
I
Camille
don't think
fighting Naja.
that is Sentai footage.
Camille and Naja definitely is.
Yeah, no, that is 115%.
And I'm almost certain that Weicker and Casey's fight in Jungle Fury is Sentai footage, but that's neither here nor there. The point
Yeah,
is,
we didn't get to Gekyu Danger, so
an adaptation like there's it should stand on its own. Like look at RPM; they didn't give a damn about the Sentai footage,
that's true. Yeah.
and they were able to tell a really good story.
Well, I think it's just a purpose of like mentality because like I think it's to say that like the mentality of the show, or at least Saban's version of Power Rangers, is so wildly different, especially now.
Yeah.
Once we
Oh
got
man.
to the Neo Saban stuff, because like the thing about the Disney era and the thing that why a lot of people say that it is the best era of Power Rangers is because they didn't really have any restrictions. Disney notoriously didn't care about Power Rangers as a brand. They didn't
Sure.
promote it, and they just produced it. So
I get
a
that.
lot of those creators and showrunners had free reign on what to do with different concepts. And so that's the double-edged sword of that. They didn't get promotion, but they could also do whatever they wanted. So there was something of a creative freedom in that. Sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't work.
Well, also it happened during, and this I'm going back to Jungle Fury again, the writer's strike of 2008, man. Like nobody was working because nobody wanted to. Nobody was getting paid what they were worth. And so the showrunners had to kind of create the show themselves, which I'm really
Yeah.
surprised didn't happen after Cosmic Fury. Like I figured somebody would have been like, "Oh, you guys aren't making the show anymore? Gimme." You know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Hakeman brothers, for the love of God, they've been making a Power Ranger show for like the last 15 years.
That's not true. That's not. They've been making Star Trek for like at least the last
Ninjago.
5. They've been making Star Trek for at least the last 5 years. They just now recently got rehired to work on the Ninjago movie. So
I'm telling you.
yeah,
Oh, another Ninjago movie. Here we go again.
yeah. We'll see how it goes. It'll be live action this time,
It's gonna
specifically
be
live action.
it's gonna be Ninjago, a Power Rangers movie. Oh man.
Yeah,
I
we'll
hope
see.
you're
We'll see.
prepared.
I have high hopes, especially if those guys are being like literally paid by Universal in order to make that movie. So
I really hope so. I really because man, I recently watched the first season of Troll Hunters just because, and man, that's just so good.
yes, it
Woo!
is. It's
It's kind of like
fantastic.
Jungle Fury. Like we go from one thing to the other so fast, man, and everything's tied together, and all the characters play off each other really well. It's wild.
Well, that's what I was expecting. Like when Power Rangers went to Netflix, and that is kind of what we got. Just kind of weird amalgamation
Yeah.
of like, which I understand. Kind of you want the bridge from like what we were doing in Dino Fury season 1 to season 2, and then to Cosmic Fury.
Yeah.
I do think that they got to a point to where uh, Dino Fury season 2 and Cosmic Fury by extension was the show that Saban had
Yeah.
always been trying to trying to recapture the lightning of, because they wanted to just make like MMPR but modernized, and
Yeah.
they just it's been a struggle for like literally the last 14 years to try and like replicate that success. And I think the closest they ever got to being like super duper confident in what they were doing was with Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury.
Yes, but that goes back to the whole Netflix thing. Like they're allowed to do stuff that they just weren't allowed to do before. They throw
Yes, yes.
around death.
Yeah,
We
dude.
got I will say Dino Fury the end really irritates me because man, mm, who cares? Anyway, not the point of the video.
Yeah,
The point of
well,
the video is I think Disney had more hits than they had flops, but
they no no no
having
they absolutely did.
I think
I
what it
think
was
the
5 to
I think
3.
the misses, because it was from 2003 to
3. Yeah.
2009, so that's 6 seasons.
Is it?
So yeah, so
Oh yeah.
I
Wait,
think
no.
I think yeah, because
I'm only counting 5.
it's Ninja Storm, Dino
Dino
Thunder,
Thunder, SPD, Mystic
SPD,
Force,
Mystic
Overdrive,
Force, Overdrive, Jungle
Jungle Fury,
Fury,
RPM. So there's
and
7.
RPM. So 7. So there's 7. But I think that like
I don't
they
know what I missed.
started on such like rocky ground, because I will say this, that I don't think that Ninja Storm was what a lot of Power Rangers fans wanted from the show. And I think that
Yeah.
like that is my most generous way of putting that, of like the direction the show went was not for the people that loved Time Force, or the people that loved
Lost Galaxy.
any of the previous Neo, even any of the previous Saban stuff.
But
So
on that same coin, it also spawned a whole generation of Disney Power Rangers fans that just suck. I swear to God, they have no standards. And
well,
look, if
I
you
think
like
that
Ninja
like
Storm, whatever. I'm saying it's a bad season objectively.
no. I agree with you, because that's why I wanted to put that caveat in there, because there's so many people have so many different interpretations of like what, because a lot of people really
I don't
do
get it.
like the common comedy about it, and are like, well, it's a live action cartoon, we shouldn't be taking this stuff so
Right.
seriously. But
But that's
again, you and I were both raised on like Digimon, so like
right. Time Force, once again,
we
like
can see, we can
and
have goofy moments, but it shouldn't be at the expense of like the stakes of the story.
Right, exactly. Like there's nothing to get us from point A to point B. Like I started rewatching the show recently. I got to episode 11 and then I just didn't care. Like there's nothing going on. Who cares? It's not like with Jungle
Yeah.
Fury where every time you flip on an episode, oh, something interesting has happened. Because I was thinking about it earlier today. How much filler does Jungle Fury actually have? I can only think of one episode.
I can't think of anything.
Blue Ranger Twin Danger doesn't have anything to do with anything.
It's
It's
it's the
just
second
Theo's
episode. It's like
relationship with
literally
his
the
brother.
follow-up episode to the Master Rangers.
Is it?
Yeah,
The
when the
Spirit
Masters show
Rangers?
up, like dressed as Power Rangers, like literally the next thing that happens is Blue Ranger Twin Danger.
Oh, is that when they zap the Spirit Ranger and kill RJ's
Yes.
dad?
Yes.
That's insane.
So yeah, no, that show had a way of like weaving in like filler plots into
Right.
like story-based hardcore episodes.
Like even RPM couldn't do that.
Yeah, dude, it's wild, man. But I think
But
that
that
like
show has a goal.
because
Like, it has a story to tell, and you're gonna hear about it.
yeah, well, so we got off of Ninja Storm. A lot of fans got back because of Dino Thunder because that was like literally let's bring everybody back in. Let's try to take this a little bit more seriously. Let's bring in
Right.
Tommy Oliver, which a lot of fans really enjoy, and
Yeah,
so that kind
he's
of brought
the
everybody
Power
back in, and so everybody stuck around from then on until SPD, which is a great show, really great
There's
show.
an idea. I had a really just interesting idea just now. Sorry to interrupt, but do you
No,
think
you're fine.
we could have taken Tommy and done like a Common Rider adaptation with him?
Yeah, we could. I
We could have,
actually,
right?
the actual comp that you do is you do Adam Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what you do.
And you do Adam instead of Tommy?
I think that's what you do.
Tommy is the Power Ranger, though.
Yeah,
He's the most famous Power
but
Ranger.
he's always
in the
associated with
world.
like a team, though,
I don't know if that's true.
and also like what suit
Especially-
or color he's wearing. So like, which one would you give him?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't give him one
Because
of
I
the
think
MDR
you
suits.
could do one with like Adam Park wearing the like 01 outfit because it's black and gold and green. I just think that's
Yeah,
fun.
but that was 20 years after. There's a gap between those two.
I know. I'm just saying that like we like Tommy's history
like-
as a Power Ranger is so like well known that
Right.
like I don't know if you could separate him from that. Whereas
You don't,
Adam's got
though.
a little
That's
bit
what
of
I'm
a
saying.
mystery, so I think that's kind of the appeal that I see with that.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't take him away from it. You just create another story around him. Like he's always going to be the Power Ranger. So give him a Common Rider suit. Have him pal around by himself.
Yeah, it could have worked, especially since I think he's like one of the like because the original team did meet up with the first Common Rider, the Master Rider. So you could definitely weave a story around it. I wonder if somebody's written that fanfic.
I have
That could
no
be
doubt.
fun.
But like that's what I'm saying. If I think out of anybody, probably Tommy was probably going to be the best one. That's why we haven't gotten a Common Rider adaptations because we'd never reached that level with one person before. Or since
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily because it doesn't have to be one person because I think even the Common Rider series that have been more recent, they always have like more than one writer. And I think that was the like impetus for like Dragon Knight when that was a thing, when Saban produced that before they bought the rights to Power Rangers back.
Yeah, I can't remember that. I remember the Mystic
Yeah.
Knights of Turnanog and the big bad Beetleborgs.
Yeah, no, Dragon Knight was the thing that aired like literally in the mid 2000s on CW.
Oh yeah, and Ultraman.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah, it was
that.
a weird thing that we've never been able to like really do the Japanese translations properly. Actually, that's not true.
It's
So we
weird.
brought back Ultraman for Netflix. Like that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Josh Hutcherson starred in that. Horrible performance. I love that show.
That's not fair.
It's like a really bad voice performance, but that show's cool because there's literally five Ultraman. So it's like a team of Power Rangers, and they're all different. They all have different powers. It's great.
There's a very strong argument to be made with the like Godzilla anime on Netflix as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the other thing too, right? Like there's a difference between trying to adapt a Sentai versus an anime, because animes happen all the time. Try adapting a
Yeah.
Sentai. It's hard
Well,
to do.
I think the times have changed, obviously, because like
Yeah.
in the 70s up until I think about the 2000s, like literally that the standard was we're making this for a different audience, so we're going to censor a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Now we've reached a point, like especially since like post 2010, to where it's well, let's just do a faithful adaptation and just change, like literally just change the language. We don't need to change anything else.
Yeah. And see, that's why I like Digimon, because it is unapologetically Japanese, bro.
It
You don't
is.
they have no, and the times when they do go to America, it's hilarious. It really
It
is,
is kind
dude.
of funny for me to think because like the way that Saban was run in the mid '90s, of like they clearly wanted to use the Digimon IP because Pokemon was massive,
Right.
but they clearly had no earthly idea how deep and lore
Yeah.
focused and hardcore that show was, because like
Yeah.
characters are dying left and right, people are in just
Right.
horrible peril. Like the only thing that they
Yeah.
like
Trauma.
so they didn't censor out a whole lot. They just kind of added a lot of Americanisms into the show.
I wouldn't even go that far.
Well, particularly with
like
like lines of dialogue, but
like
that's
what?
about it. The one that stands out to me, I think it's in the first episode. There's something about ketchup. They mentioned ketchup. It's such a '90s kid thing, so I'm like,
I
I don't know if that's
yeah.
necessarily a Japanese thing. So
I'm gonna be honest. I watched that show a couple months ago, and I don't remember that. I think that's Pokemon you're thinking of with the ketchup bottle, Pikachu's
no, I
ketchup
remember
bottle.
the ketchup bottle. There was nothing. There was nothing. Nobody said anything about the ketchup bottle, which is why it's funny to me. It's literally just Pikachu
Pikachu loves ketchup.
licking a bottle of ketchup, and then Scyther slices it in half. He's all depressed and sad. It's funny.
Whereas in Digimon, everybody's depressed and sad the whole time.
Yeah. Well, it's just a hardcore, like, this is a desperate situation.
Yeah,
And I think
you
when,
might
cause
die.
so, but anyway, back to Disney Power Rangers. So
Sorry.
I think,
Yeah, we'll
like,
talk about Digimon
after,
later.
well, I do have a point to bring up about that.
Oh,
We
okay.
will bring it up later, just because
Yeah,
I want to slide it in here at the end.
I want to
But,
watch about Try, but yeah, I want to
but
talk about Try. Sorry.
after SPD, we got to Mystic Force,
Yeah,
which I'm not really sure. Like you'd think that Disney being like built in like the realm of, or like their success being built from the stories of fairy tales, that they would be able to produce a fantasy series with Power Rangers in it. But for
I
some
mean,
reason, it just they just forget about the Power Rangers aspect
what
altogether.
you said. What you said. Disney did not care about the Power Rangers, so when they were making the Mystic Force thing, they weren't thinking, "Oh, the Power Rangers." They were thinking Harry Potter because that was what was happening at the
Yeah,
time. Like that was what was big.
that's yeah, that's the case. And then after
Yeah.
that was Overdrive, which I think legitimately killed like anybody who was
Oh,
sticking around. Anybody
I think so.
who sat through Ninja Storm and was like, "Well, that sucked," but I mean, we got Dino Thunder
SPD and
and
Dino Thunder.
SPD after
Yeah.
that. Mystic Force, it's not
Yeah.
great, but
It's not
it's
terrible. It's
fine.
not the
And
worst
then
show
you
of
go to
the
Overdrive
series.
and it's like, "Oh, never mind, this sucks." And so everybody literally left before the best shows could drop, which were Jungle
Right?
Fury and RPM. So I think like going back on it, because everybody gives the praise to RPM. Everybody says, and RPM being as good as it is, kind of created this perception that like it's the only good Disney Power Ranger season,
Yeah.
which is not
Even
true.
though I took it the opposite way. Like I think I did at first was like, "Wow, this is the best Power Ranger show because it's so different," but it's so different from what the
Yeah.
Power Rangers are, man. Like it has nothing to do with the Power Rangers. I like nothing.
Well, you could also make the same argument for like Ninja Storm,
Yeah, and
because that's
I
not a
do
Power
hate
Ranger
that
show
aspect too.
either,
No.
and neither is Mystic Force. So like the bad ones can be that way too.
Right.
But
I
it
thought
also depends on like how you're writing and if your writing
Jungle
can
Fury.
actually like gel with an audience. And I will say that like the the thing about which one's better, RPM or Jungle Fury, I always say that like they're both good, but Jungle Fury is more my speed. That is more to my tastes. It's more of the stuff that I like. It's more of the kung fu aspect, which is the thing that made me a Power Rangers fan in the first place. So
Right.
like that's
And
kind of where we're at. So it's been
there
14
is,
years, or sorry, it's been 16 years since then. And
yeah,
now we're getting back to Disney Power Rangers. I wanted to bring up that point about the Percy Jackson guys making this show because I wasn't sure. I know you've been reading those books,
I
but I
have. I
wasn't sure if
finished
you've
the
actually
second one.
checked out that show
I have
at
not.
all.
I
Okay.
have not. I watched the movie. It's awful.
Yeah, no, I've seen it, but I don't remember anything about it.
It's not the book. Like it's one of the worst page to screen adaptations I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was in the mid 2000s when they were like trying to replicate the success of Harry Potter.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I'm also currently reading Wicked, which is drastically different from the musical. I haven't seen the movie. Probably not going to, if I'm being straight honest. But
Hmm.
man, the book is awful. It's terrible. I don't know what the hell. It's like the publisher owed his cousin a favor or something. It's dumb.
It's all
I
right.
don't like it. But the point is, Disney Power Rangers, I'm actually looking forward to. Like anything other than Nickelodeon Power Rangers. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Nickelodeon had such a weird, bizarre, like handle of the property because you want to talk about like not being written for like the modern audience, especially the thing about Samurai and Megaforce to an extent is that both of those seasons were like marketed very heavily of like this is the show you remember from back
Right.
in the day,
Exactly.
but the way that but their target demo is like for less than 10-year-olds or less than 9-year-olds. It's
Yeah.
so drastically different from like what the show was marketed as. It's so unique in that way, or it's so confusing in the way that it's like, well, we gotta have comic relief in every episode. We gotta always end on a joke. We can't have
Yeah.
serialized storytelling in a fucking serialized Sentai show.
Especially bizarre given that Megaforce did not have a comic relief duo, neither did Dino Charge.
Yeah.
So
Well,
what
it's
the
funny
jump?
because like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like
Who's
that kind of came in later. Like that was a later mandate because that was certainly a thing with Victor and Monty and then Ben and Betty later on.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know where that came from though. Like who says we have to have a comic relief duo? Like we had Bulk and Spike for nostalgia factor in Samurai, even
Yeah.
though they're really not funny to start. Like Paul Schreier is that character, so like
Hmm.
I just love seeing that guy on screen. But what's his
Yeah.
name? Felix, I don't remember his name.
Oh,
The
yeah,
guy who plays
you're
Spike.
right. I think you got him right on the first name, but I don't know the rest of his
I
name.
don't remember this last. The homie was annoying in his like
Well, he
copy
was he
copy
was trying to
paste.
replicate like season one Skull.
Exactly, but like he should have a deeper, and we do eventually get there in Super Samurai. Like by the end of the show, I totally rooted for the dude. I talked about it the last time, but
Yeah.
man, under no circumstances, like Megaforce didn't have it. That's not why that show failed. Dino Charge didn't have it, and that show didn't fail. So I'm confused where Victor and Monty came from, even though they're
Yeah,
arguably
well,
the
I
best part
think
of the
that
show.
they just come because they just wanted it to be like more fun.
They're still
Because
the
I
best
don't know
part of the show.
what Nickelodeon's brand of like comedy is. It's such a bizarre thing compared to like everything else.
Best part of the show.
Well, they're the most consistent part. I'll give you that because everything like
Exactly.
literally is like literally everything else is awful. The Rangers suck. The villains suck. So like, what are you gonna hold on to? The comic
Victor and
relief
Monty.
guys that at least understand their characters. Like
Yeah,
at
and they
least they
have a
have a handle
goal.
on what they're doing. That's cool because like
They have
literally nobody
something.
else knows what the fuck they're doing.
They know where they're trying to get to. They have a goal and they accomplish it at the end of the show. So like
Yeah.
I can't be mad at them. And they're
Yeah.
genuinely funny guys, as we talked about before. But
Yeah, and I,
man,
I, I liked Ben and Betty in Beast Morphers for what
e-
they contributed to the show.
I guess
They didn't
Mara.
reach the level of useless that I thought that like what was the woman's name?
Oh,
The
Jane
boss
and
lady.
Jayborg.
Is it Jade? Okay.
Jane with
Jane.
an
Yeah, you're
N.
right. That's what it is. Jane and Jayborg.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just don't think we needed them. Like we have them in the show, you don't need them. You really don't need them. Especially if we're gonna
Seriously.
get Mucus on the villain side and she's like entertaining all by herself. You really
Yeah.
don't need any other comic relief. I don't know why we have that, and I especially don't know why we have that. And then Ion later, who's a fucking idiot. But that's a different topic for a different time.
We'll get there. I really just
Yeah.
need to rewatch the show because I forgot most of it. But man, I agree with you. I was thinking about Disney side characters that were the comic relief because we had Mar and Capri in Mystic Force.
Mhm.
We had Dustin and Cassidy in Dino Charge. We
Mhm.
had Flit and Fran, I guess, even though they don't interact. They are
They
the
don't
comic relief
interact, but
characters.
it is literally just Kelson Henderson carrying the show.
Yeah,
Or
that's
carrying
not
that
true.
aspect of the show. Carrying
I
that
was gonna
aspect of
say,
the show. I will say.
don't lie to me
By the way,
and the people.
I watched the Prince Takes Night episode of Megaforce like last week,
Oh
and I
shit!
forgot that the monster is voiced by Kelson, like literally in the episode.
He's all over this show.
Yeah, no, he is. He is absolutely.
And then we had uh Phineas and Toby we had Piggy in SPD,
Yeah, Piggy and SPD.
and then Phineas
It's
and
Gingy and
Toby.
Mystic Force.
Oh, we did have
There's a
Gingy.
lot of comic. There's too many people in Mystic Force.
Yeah,
There's too many people in fucking Overdrive too. Fuck those guys.
yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. Like those shows failed with those characters, and then RPM had Gem and Gemma eventually, but like a lot of the comedy came from Ziggy and his interactions with everybody.
Dr. K primarily, but yeah.
I mean, Dylan a lot of the time, like that's how the show starts.
Yeah. Yeah,
So don't give me
that
that.
is what we open with is those two.
Yeah.
So like that may make sense for sure.
So having comic relief characters isn't bad. Just make them make
Yeah.
sense. Make them matter.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, the other thing that I wanted to bring up is we got an announcement for Digimon Beat Break, which is a
Yeah, we
new
did.
season of Digimon that's going to come out later this year. We'll see how that goes, especially because like I think that people were celebrating the fact that it's the first like non-adventure season that we've had in I think Jesus. When did Savers come out? Like, oh, actually, no, that's not true. Because there was
Right.
one. There was no, because that is adventure. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, well, what about Data Squad? I don't remember how long ago that was.
yeah, no, that's what I was thinking of. But I know there's something else after that.
And then they had the adventure
It
reboot.
was it was the Crossroads one, but it was the one that literally they produced, but I can't remember. It was Digimon Fusion, I think is what it was called. And it literally
Oh.
came out in 2013. So it's been like 12 years since we've had like a non adventure season because like literally they've just been doing like sequel series and then remakes and then we did the redub of the movie that I watched recently. So like
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
And I love it. But also, like I just watched Try, and that show sets up for a sequel. So we're going to get another adventure season, whether we like it or not. I really hope it already exists because I'm way behind the
it
times.
very well might. I don't know. I don't know though. Digimon has such a weird relationship. It's kind of all over the place. It's been around for almost as long as Pokemon, but it's not as consistent as Pokemon has been.
Try is
Pokemon has
bizarre.
been like around. It's very much the difference between like Power Rangers and Ninjago, bizarrely, because like that was the thing about the Power Rangers that I didn't understand with Nickelodeon. They're like, we can't do serialized storytelling, boo. And Ninjago, meanwhile, had a serialized storytelling and handled it really well. Was literally just a Power Rangers aesthetic for a modern generation, and that show's been on for 15 fucking years.
And animated, no less. So everybody who got mad that it's live action, the duh, it can be done better in an animated fashion.
It absolutely
Right.
can. Like that, I think the Ninjago, like the big stuff, like that. That's why you get to the point of like we're gonna do a movie and it'll be live action. What the hell is that gonna look like? I have no idea, but I can't help myself to be excited, even though it'll probably let me down again.
And that's kind of how I felt about Try finishing that show because man,
Oh yeah,
you'd think I would learn that Digimon doesn't do conclusions very well. It makes me angry.
What would be the best one? I don't even remember. I can't
Uh,
remember anything other than Adventure One because I don't remember
uh,
how O2 ends. I don't remember how. I mean, outside of the, I just remember that the ending of Tamers was really sad.
yeah, everything about Tamers was really sad. Like they were like, I know this isn't the characters that you guys want, but it's the story you want, I promise.
Yeah,
And they absolutely nail it, man. I like Tamers a lot. I
and then
do,
I can't remember what happened in Frontiers. Like after,
yeah.
other than it being like a Power Ranger show that is a Power Ranger show. Like
But
I
an incredibly forgettable Power Ranger show on top of it.
well, it's just so very like it's been there, done that. Like literally,
Right.
I could announce like I could tell what characters were going to say before they said it because that is
Yeah.
literally how bare bones the script was.
It's so boring. That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
Like, how do you have a Power Ranger show and be boring? Ninja Steel.
Zio.
Zio. No,
Yeah,
Ninja
because
Steel
I
was
don't
bad
hate
for a bunch of
Zio.
reasons.
It's got a lot of good ideas, but it is just MMPR
I think
season
it's
4 with
just
a new coat of paint.
I think it's just yeah, the nostalgia factor. I think that's why people like Zio at all.
Well, I definitely like Zio for like the aesthetic because like I think the suits are great.
Oh, sure.
Especially because I think it's like the first time that we did like a different shades of colors. Because I do think that those characters or those suits have like a darker hue to them than like the MMPR suits did.
I think it might be just a Sentai footage thing.
It could
Because
also be
man,
like a color balance thing because there was more
right.
white on the MMPR suits.
That's true. Yeah. That's the thing. Like
Yeah,
they don't balance. Not for me.
but I
But I
mean,
mean,
didn't because the Kaku Ranger suits were also a different hue, right?
that's what I'm saying. Like the whatever technology they used in Japan to film in 1995 or whatever when that show came out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, or I guess it would have to be 93, the year before it came out. No, 95. I was right. Never mind. The point is, Diet Ranger's the best Sentai.
Well, yeah, I didn't know that until we both saw it, and then we are just like, "Geez, this is really good.
Yeah. It's
What's
like
going
Digimon,
on?"
man.
Then I look on later, and it's like considered to be one of the best, and that's literally the first Sentai that you saw. So
Yeah.
lucky
Thanks a lot,
you.
Nick.
Yeah, it's totally my bad. It's one of the 2 Sentai series that I own. I also have Go 5. I was thinking about ordering another one, but I don't know
Yeah,
which
dude.
one.
Well, I mean, Geki Ranger, obviously.
I don't think that one's out. I think the last one that came out was Hurricane Joe. I'll look. I'll do some research.
That would suck if that were true, especially
Yeah,
considering in Dino Thunder we watch an episode of Abba Ranger.
that is true. Yeah, go over time and space.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know what to expect with this Disney Plus thing. I haven't watched a Disney Plus show since She-Hulk came out because that show just totally let me down.
see,
And
that's the thing.
it's not for lack of trying. Like there's a lot of stuff that I want to see. I can't will myself to like actually click on it and give it a shot because I want to see the Spider-Man show. I want to see Daredevil, Born
Daredevil.
Again, and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But like
Oh,
She-Hulk was such a colossal waste of time, which is the worst
right.
thing that you can be for me. And so I can't be like, oh well, maybe it'll work out. Like I didn't watch Loki season 2, but that was a different thing. I didn't care for that first season. So
After the original Netflix MCEU, I didn't watch anything, and that's because I still didn't even watch Iron Fist. And then I watched
oh,
WandaVision, which
Iron Fist is awful.
it slowly gets worse. Like they clearly like pull their punches because we're a Disney Plus show. Happy
Yeah,
ending.
that's true. But I mean, you do. It's still a superhero show. I like they are not going to go as dark. I just want to know what it's going to look like because they say it's going to be a reimagining.
Oh,
So we're probably going to do a reboot or like a start from scratch. But I don't know if it's going to be like based on a Sentai. I think the contract with Toei has been terminated for a while now. So I don't know.
okay.
I legitimately have no idea what this is going to look like.
Well, here's the real question as to whether or not it's going to take place in the original Disney universe, or if this is going to be the Disney Plus universe of Power Rangers, a completely different section of the of the multiverse.
Well, I would assume that like with them calling it a reboot and reinvention, that it's not gonna be connected to all of that stuff. Because I think Cosmic
I don't
Fury
know.
did a pretty good job of like bridging all of the gaps together to make it feel like everything was connected. But I don't necessarily expect that from this show, so we'll see what happens, I guess.
That's what I was gonna say. Like even back in Ninja Steel, they really wanted to tie in the original Power Rangers ideas. Like that's where they really got invested into the multiverse idea of Power Rangers, because after Ninja Steel, Beast Morphers had it. And then of course everything that
Well,
happened
Beast
in Dino
Morphers is a
Fury and Cosmic
sequel
Fury.
to RPM, which
Sequel,
RPM takes
no,
place in a separate universe. It's a sequel.
it's not a sequel, it's a
It's
spin-off.
a spirit. Well, it's a spiritual successor because it does
No,
deal with the same themes and literally the same villain. So
it's a
spoilers.
spin-off. Like Frasier, it's a spin-off.
I mean, all of these are spin-offs, dude.
Exactly. So there's no point.
But you can still make them
That's
like lived in universes.
but that's what I'm saying. Like they relied too heavily on it the same way Dino Thunder did. I think Cosmic Fury did it properly.
Yeah, well,
And even when Zed
Cosmic
came
Fury was
into
such a
Dino Fury,
weird thing to watch because they would like literally pull from different sources
right?
and like just expect you to know about it. And it was one of those things where like, thank God, because this is the show that I've been wanting since like literally I started reviewing the show in 2013.
That's what
I'm
I'm
not
saying.
asking for any kind of like deep big story or whatever. Just have narrative consistency. Pay
Right.
attention to what you're doing. That's all I
And
want. That's all I care about. And the fact that
Ninja Steel.
they were so focused on like, oh well, it's going to be Lord Zed, so he's going to do this, and this is why this makes sense. And oh, it's going to be Mick, and he's going to do this, and this is why this makes sense. So like,
Right.
just pay attention. It's so much easier to write things when you pay attention to details.
Well, no, it's so much easier to keep the audience interested when you pay attention.
Yes,
Jungle
yes,
Fury.
yes. Keep the stakes
God.
high and keep interest by
And
just
keep the
building
characters
on itself.
consistent.
Yes.
Don't have the whiz kid get all like, oh, math is hard. That's stupid. They're the whiz kid.
That was the thing that I couldn't get with Victor and Monty. Is like they're both stupid. I didn't
Right.
get it.
They have bad luck.
No, Ben and Betty have bad luck because they have old family luck and an old family curse, which is the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'm telling you, dude, comic relief characters can be good on the occasion.
Should we rank them?
Which
The
ones?
comic relief?
Oh, the comic relief duos. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that.
Do we
That
have
sounds like
enough?
fun. I mean, almost every season has one.
Yeah,
Or
but
do you
Bulk and
want to
Skull
just...
was stuck around for a while.
Yeah, but so did those Rangers. They left
Well,
about
no,
the same
I'm just saying,
time.
like even post like the original team, like they were the most consistent cast members for like 7 years.
Paul Schreier, Jason Narvey jumped ship,
Jason Harvey did jump ship
and good for
to go to
him.
college. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. To better himself.
But I also like you and I were talking about this the other day of like it was so interesting to me that Catherine Sutherland she came in to replace Kim
Right.
and Nakia Burrise came in to replace Tanya. They
Mhm.
both showed up closer to the end of MMPR, or in Tanya's case, the end of MMPR to start Zeo.
Right.
But they didn't. They only stuck around for like 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah.
When the original team they were there for like literal years for a longer period of time.
I think
So I think and I have a hypothesis that maybe the production on the Turbo movie was so strenuous and taxing that they just both decided, yeah, we're not going to stick around after this is done.
it was kind of like a David Tennant situation. Like if we don't leave, we're gonna be doing this for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, and Tennant still came back, so
And so did Tommy. So don't give me that. And so did
well,
Cat.
and so did Cat. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a fair point.
but
Fair point for
I'm
sure.
just that's not really the point of the video. We can talk about that next time. The point of
Yeah.
this video is that Disney has. I think we're all just hopeful that Disney doesn't screw it up. If we
Yeah,
start with something like Ninja Storm, man, I'm gonna be so pissed off.
well, like you were saying last week or last time we recorded that like placement is such a
Right.
factor in terms of like what we're going to get next, you know. And I
Yeah.
think that like so many people have a bad taste of what Neo Saban was, and Hasbro hasn't really been able to
Right. They
be
haven't
much
delivered yet.
better than that.
Yeah.
I
We
think that
had
like
we
Beast
had faith in
Morphers
those
started on a
guys.
high note and then whimpered out. Dino Fury was awful for the first half of it,
Yeah.
up until like literally up until the show left Nickelodeon. Like as
Yes.
soon as that happened, the show just immediate switch and became
Yeah.
something different and something so much better.
And
So
interesting.
I'd be very curious to
To the
see
point where Dino Fury actually
What Disney Plus is gonna look like. I will say this:
to
we're
the
never
point
getting a
where Disney
scene.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. To the point where Dino Fury has the best episode of Power Rangers that we've seen. Period.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we'll
we're never
talk
gonna.
about that next time.
We're not gonna see that again, bro. We're
No.
not on Disney Plus. Hell no. And I've got
No.
receipts for that one. So
No.
we'll talk about that on the next
Ah.
episode. But
But they fumbled the ball so hard on that anyway, dude, and I'm very pissed off about that. But we'll talk about it next time.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Like that was going to be the topic for this show up until this news dropped. So
right,
we wanted to cover this one first because this is the thing that everybody's talking about. So
and
yeah,
I've been
you can
so
join
crazy
us
busy. It's
next
just really
time.
hard. Yeah, next week we will actually be able to film this show. Actually, probably in a few days.
Oh, okay.
I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll see what happens.
But I think, in conclusion, Disney Plus has something of a market, a corner on the superhero market right now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got. They're in prime position,
right?
But to expect
Exactly.
it just. I just want to see what it looks like because Disney Plus original series haven't been like standout big things.
Hasbro's whole thing with with Cosmic Fury anyway was a American produced Power Rangers show, so maybe they'll lean further into that. Maybe they will actually stick with the formula of what Cosmic Fury did, or maybe they'll go back to what they did with RPM and try to make their own stories and make the Sentai fit. I can see that going both ways. Either
Do
it's
you
going to be
think
really
that there's
good
a
or really bad.
possibility that they would just reuse the Sentai footage? Like literally start from MMPR and just use the Sentai footage for MMPR and just have a different story and different characters built around it?
No, I think they did. They already redid the Power Rangers, and all they did was egg litter. So no, I don't think that's what's going to happen. Like,
all right.
I really don't think that audiences would appreciate that. If I'm being straight.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that so many people are so. It is like the Digimon thing where so many people are so out of the adventure stories. So many people are done with MMPR. Let's move on to something else. There's so many stronger stories.
Well, no,
than
I just meant like
in this franchise.
Well, the way you put it, they thought you were saying like they're gonna change the show, just use the original Sentai footage with a different set of people. Like, no.
Well, that's what I was thinking. That like, do you think that they would do that? And I agree with you that it probably wouldn't, but they also could. I don't know.
They could, but I don't think it would end well if they did. Especially like I can definitely see the Ranger Nation getting up in arms over that nonsense. Like, how dare you? Like, if you want to make your own Sentai, cool. Cosmic Fury did it. It worked, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to adapt a new season, like we still haven't gotten the Q Ranger.
Yeah, that's true. But there's a lot of stuff that we have kind of skipped over the last.
Well, you leave Disney Plus. You leave Die Ranger alone. Don't you dare. You can't. You do not have the balls.
No, they absolutely don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the Die Ranger goes way, way harder than anybody. Like, even if Hasbro decided to continue on Netflix, they couldn't get away with that. There's a lot
in that show. They kill the child in their Christmas special.
They kill the child.
In their Christmas special. Like that's
Yeah,
that's a ballsy move, man.
the most depressing. Shaughnessy Noble, welcome. Great chat, guys. I am hopeful for the future now that Disney has the production rights to Power Rangers back. Coming from a huge Ninja Storm fan, Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you, man, people love it. I don't get
I
it.
don't
Like
get
I
it.
said, it's such a different generational gap.
And
Because
you
like
know
the
what?
thing that I remember specifically is like right from the jump, I could tell something was wrong when
Yeah.
I watched Ninja Storm. Like for the
Yes.
first time, like literally watching, like just from the intro alone, I was like, oh, this doesn't feel right.
That's not the Power Rangers. But like,
Yeah,
I am not one to be like, you should hate this show or you can't like this show because that's bullshit. But I'm saying I don't.
yeah.
I think the show is bullshit. But that'll probably be later on. We'll see when we get the episode reviews back up and running. Because man, we want to talk about Cosmic Fury something fierce.
Yeah, no, I gotta get on that now, especially if there's gonna be another season coming.
Yeah, I do.
So I gotta focus. I gotta focus up. Gotta get through 30 episodes, or at least like 35 or something like that.
Some such nonsense.
Yeah,
we'll get back
it's
to
gonna
that.
be it's gonna be pulling teeth up until I get to the one episode that I'm looking forward to. So we'll see.
Oh, come on. There are a couple episodes in Dino Fury that do really well. They all center around Izzy, but that's fine.
That's what I said. Those first couple of episodes are gonna be rough to sit through, but we'll get through it.
Yeah, we absolutely will. We already did. We'll do it again. I don't mind.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
I've watched that first episode a couple times. I just need to write a script out. But so guys, look forward to that. We're gonna get the train back up and running. I went dormant like literally at the time that this show went dormant itself, and then by the time I come back, it just kind of revived. So I think it's just based on my own pulse, probably. So I guess we'll see what happens. As long as I keep kicking around, Power Rangers will still be here.
The same thing happened with Zato. I'm just saying that's what happened to you. You were like frozen, and somebody woke you up. They had to be like, "Wake up!" or thaw you out of the carbonite.
Oh, come on! My voice is much stronger than his, but that's a story for a different time.
I'm very excited
anyway,
to reviews.
Yeah. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll talk more about Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury on the next episode. But for now, just kind of leave us comments. Let us know what you guys are expecting from Disney or from Power Rangers on Disney Plus. What you want to see, what you don't want to see, and
and what
your
could
theories
possibly happen. Because we don't know. Do you know? Probably not. I might ship Andy.
I'm Nick, aka Ironbat 1993, and may the Power Chamber protect you.